tipping has been inflated to an average of 20 to 25%. That's now the standard,
Yeah,
apparently.
in New York, sometimes you see like 30.
How do people live in America? Tipping culture in Korea is slowly on the rise, as we said in the intro.
But like where?
People are freaking out about it.
Like, I don't understand getting this offended. Like
It's the
provide
same with
option.
like weed. We cannot allow weed into Korea because it's a lot of articles says that white people tip the most, black people are second, and Asians are at the last.
We're frugal. Like they keep coming. It's like, how is the food?
Yeah,
Like, do you
yeah,
need
that's so
anything? And I'm like, I just want to
leave
be
me
left
alone.
alone. Yeah, I just want to be left alone.
I want to enjoy my food.
Yeah, and in Korea they serve things with robots, and I'm more comfortable with that. Like the robot.
Bringing Korea one slice closer to the world with extraordinary and fun toppings. Welcome to the Korean Pizza Club, KPC. I'm your host, David Kim, with the regulars here.
Kelsey the Korean.
Anna Lee.
Soobeanie.
Wow, I love that. So routine now and fast. Yes. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a very controversial subject today as well. It's about tipping. Tipping.
In Korea?
Yeah, tipping in Korea. And apparently, tipping culture is in the rise in Korea. There are signs here and there, and the Korean public is outraged. They are like, we are not taking this BS.
Yeah.
Western
I saw
culture.
so many SNS and I saw the comments and they're like, 뭔 팁이야?
Yeah.
뭔 소리야?
They're
Yeah, what's
so
the
pissed.
tip?
Like, we can
Like-
adopt everything from America, but not tipping.
Yeah, that's literally.
But,
It stresses me out just thinking about tipping culture being
Yeah.
as mainstream here.
yeah. So they're just trying to eradicate it from the start, from the
I don't
get.
think it will get big. It might. It
It
might.
really might.
I'm getting stressed. I need
We'll
to vape.
talk about that. But in general, I think everybody can sense it already. But what do you think about tipping culture in general? Like your
I mean,
stances.
even Americans now, they're agreeing that it's getting outrageous in America too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
I've
is
seen a
it
lot of
necessary
videos.
economy-wise? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, what is
Like,
your stance?
I don't know anything about it. Like, if you're making minimum wage, do you absolutely need tipping or you can't make enough to live?
It's different. In America, it's different depending on the state.
Okay.
But apparently some restaurants, they think the tipping wage will cover for their, work and service.
I
So
think that should be illegal.
Yeah,
I think
they
you
don't
should
give minimum
get
wage.
paid minimum wage because I know that some US restaurants, they pay like $5 an hour
Yeah.
and then the rest you subsidize by tipping.
That's right.
By the tip.
yeah.
That's what I've heard in America is the case. They definitely that's like.
But in Korea,
the
you get
consensus.
minimum.
minimum
It's not a
wage.
lot, but you're guaranteed
Yeah,
minimum
same in
wage.
London.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soobeanie, what do you think about tipping?
In Korea.
Do you think it's a generous act?
Yeah.
Like,
No. Well, I lived in the States 10 years ago, and back then the tipping culture wasn't like how it is now. You know what I
Right,
mean?
you still
would
have some
literally-
change and-
Yeah, like some change that you have left, or like if they had really good service, you would put a little bit more. But now it's like literally by percentage on the receipts,
Yeah.
and like
Even for takeout coffee, you
Yeah.
have to.
Even
So-
for takeout.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I went to New York, they swivel around the machine. They're like, "Do you want to tip?" I'm like, "What am I tipping for?"
Yeah.
And then you have to tip for
making the
haircuts.
coffee.
You tip for everything.
Oh my God, I was in Erewhon in LA last year and I went to get a Haley Bieber smoothie for $20-something. And then they're like mandatory tipping and the tipping started from like 15 to 20%, 50%,
Yeah,
20%,
yeah.
35%. And I'm like, I don't have a seat here. I'm just
Yeah.
taking it out,
Yeah.
but I
That's
still
what I'm
have to
saying.
tip.
yeah.
But even Americans are not happy right now either with this whole.
Wait, I'm more surprised at a $25 smoothie.
I mean, but
Yeah,
that's
that's Erewhon. That's
Erewhon.
Erewhon. And I
Yeah.
didn't even get a seat. You to take out.
Okay.
It's like it's called the Haley Bieber.
It's Haley Bieber.
smoothie.
It has like
America.
moss,
Yeah, America.
gelatin, and
Whatever. Have you ever tipped in Korea?
No.
no.
Never.
Oh, I've tipped a cab driver in the sense like you don't need to give me change.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, like if it's $8, I give you
Yeah,
just
sometimes
10,
I've been like
10.
keep the change if
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to change
Keep the
like
change.
coins back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I recently tipped a taxi driver because they have it on like the apps now
Yeah.
where you can give.
Yeah, I feel so
money.
guilty whenever I say like, "Do you want a tip?" Like,
Yeah.
no.
Especially if I'm not going like a long route and they chose to pick me up, I will give them like an extra like
that's
Yeah.
nice of
$3,
you.
$5.
Yeah, but just to give our international listeners a context, in Korea, tipping is no.
Not mandatory.
Yeah, not mandatory. It's just not here. It's not in the culture.
Yeah, and you pay what's on the menu, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
menu includes the whatever tax.
Right.
and
even taxes, yeah,
even
it's
taxes.
included.
Yeah. So you just pay the exact amount on the
By
menu.
law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By law. And that was only declared in 2013. And before that, the only places that received tips were high-end restaurants and hotels, like the bars there, and they would plus VAT and like service fees. Yeah. And people thought that was a scam too. And then there was a big outroar about that. And then that got abolished. And now everything on the menu is the final price. You don't have to tip anything. So that's called the final payment price indication system.
Oh, we like it. I like it.
Yeah, VAT included as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, nowadays it says apparently the only place tipping culture is prevalent in Korea is the golf course.
Oh,
the caddies.
okay.
I've never been to a golf course.
My dad always has cash when he goes to a golf club.
Really?
To just tip the caddies. Yeah, because they're
caddies.
nicer. Then they're nicer.
Yeah,
Caddies,
yeah, the
and
caddies are nicer.
they walk in the sunlight carrying your bags for you and stuff. So
Like
it's like an actual service, like, you know, like they're there for you.
Oh, and also when I was moving, my dad called the moving guys for me, and they get paid a fair price, but he still tipped them because all day of like carrying closets.
Oh,
and-
okay.
Even like
feel bad.
massages, still, I know like some people still do tip. Like,
that sounds weird.
I know, but I know you're thinking something weird. No, like a regular massage.
They're like
David, you're
$10 tip.
happy ending.
Yeah. Okay, Soobeanie. Okay.
No.
Yeah, living the freaky life. But yeah, caddies. Okay, I never knew about that. Golf courses and stuff. But I saw my grandpa tip like restaurant service workers sometimes.
Oh, my friend, she's 20 years old, so she's a baby, and she recently started working at this nogari, like pocha kind of bar.
Yeah.
And like a lot of 40s and 50 years old, like they give her like tenors, like, oh, you're hardworking and
Yeah.
you're so young, and yeah, she just gets tips like
Right.
that.
So I've only seen the elders maybe pull out some bills for the service workers. And I think it's also now because like young people don't even have cash in their
Yeah, nobody
true.
carries cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Yes.
taxi driver was like, can you pay in cash because everyone pays in card these days? And I'm like, oh,
Oh.
sorry, I don't have cash.
Oh.
When was this?
Like recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he wanted to evade tax?
Yeah, I think so. I
Oh,
think
okay.
so.
And I guess we have like an international background, all of us. So I think Soobeanie can represent America, you can represent UK, you can represent, where was it, Sweden?
Okay, I didn't. Okay, I've only been there 6 months.
Yeah, you have enough.
Okay,
You have
sure.
indirect knowledge, right? So,
I know more than you guys though.
Exactly. You're the Europe representative here. So what about America? How is it there?
I wouldn't know. I don't live there anymore.
Still, you've been in the culture for a while.
I mean, we've all visited America, right?
Yeah.
I went to
It's
New York
just
last
so
November.
expensive.
Yes.
and,
Oh my god, LA cabs.
Yeah,
crazy.
and I know, like, you know, they do have like a better like minimum wage than we do in Korea, but like, and they make more money.
Minimum
but
wage in
still-
Korea is $8.
Yeah, it's
And the
still-
living cost is extremely
Yeah, the
high.
living cost is extreme. But I know like so many of my friends who actually really do cook more at home. As like in Korea, I feel like we still eat out more.
Yeah, we do.
When I went to VidCon with our friends
Yeah.
this time, we never ate out.
Yeah.
Because my friend, like
Really?
Jin, was infuriated with the tips. He
Yeah,
was like
really?
cussing, like, why
Yeah.
do I have to pay this? This service worker didn't do
Or
anything.
they actually do takeout. Like they're not
Yeah.
gonna eat there; they'll just take it out if it's like a fast
what
food.
did
In
you guys eat?
America, do they
At
at least include VAT in the menu, or do they not?
I don't know. I think it's different. Like,
Because I went to
there was-
BCD in LA, and
장난 아니지.
the VAT was not included. So I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
a $12 tofu stew, and then it ended up being $14, and then I had to tip 20% on the
Yeah.
$14.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's what happened to us too.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
went
So
to
what
like
did you eat? How did you eat?
we first went to like a family restaurant, and
Right.
then a pancake turned out to be like $30 or something, and I was like, this is BS. We're not going to we're not eating out. And then when Danny said like we can go to like an APM convenience store and get like refrigerated tacos or burritos or
I'm gonna
something.
be more honest though. If Koreans go to Korean like owned restaurants, it's a little bit less than American owned restaurants. I don't know how
In
to
America?
explain it. Yeah,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
if
yeah.
you go to Koreatown,
Yeah.
yes, there is still tipping, but it's not. It's like a thing
They
because
give you some
Korean
slack.
people,
They
yeah,
give you
they're
some
like
slack.
older generation,
yeah.
old gen
They're like,
Korean.
excuse me.
Yeah, the old gen Koreans, they will tip, but then it's not going to be as much as like 20% and stuff.
Yeah,
you know what
I
I mean?
actually
So-
went to like a
right?
Korean beef place, and they said no tips.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, we
yeah,
don't
yeah,
we
yeah.
like
See?
that.
So
Yeah.
it's a little bit different. And I think that's because like culturally, like, you know, like
Mhm.
older generations are not used to that.
Mhm.
So they'll only go to like, you know, Korean restaurants or like places that they're used to and they don't need to.
Yeah.
I think in places like New York, 20% is not even a high tip anymore. It's like the lower
Yeah, that's
end.
that's why I
so
was
is
confused.
it mandatory? So
Yeah.
if you don't pay, you just get looks, or is it like illegal for you to not pay?
It's not illegal, but like
You get
it's just
judged.
like kind of like you feel pressure to
No,
do
I think
it.
they will say something.
They
if
say
you
Yeah,
don't.
they
something.
do
They
say
say
if you
like,
don't
did
leave
I
a
do
tip.
something wrong?
Yeah.
Like,
they're like, oh, did you not like your service?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah.
will say something and make you
In
pull
America,
you out.
I was so uncomfortable because I went to this nice place and I know I had to tip, but like they keep coming. It's like, how is the food?
Yeah,
like, do you need
that's so
anything? And I'm like, I just want to
leave
be
me
left alone.
alone.
Yeah, I just want to be left alone.
I want to enjoy my food.
Yeah, and in Korea they serve things with robots, and I'm more comfortable with that. Like the robot server brings it in, I just eat it.
Yeah,
you know.
I think it's
and
bad
they come
for
every 5
both
minutes.
sides,
Like,
you
are
know?
you enjoying
Yeah.
the food? I'm like,
Yeah, but Americans may think differently. You know, they like the
Okay.
small talk and like having
isn't like
conversations.
pressure on the
Really?
server
Yeah.
though to make
I don't
small
know.
talk?
Yeah, but apparently, according to articles, after COVID-19, after like quantitative like easing or whatever, because of the economy, the tipping has been inflated to an average of 20 to 25%. That's now the standard.
Yeah, in
Apparently.
New York, sometimes you see like 30.
Yeah, I asked just random people in
I've seen
LA,
40.
and they all answered 20% is now like the
Low.
standard.
Yeah.
That's 진짜 미친. That's so
Yeah.
crazy. I'm
She's-
so glad.
She cussed.
That's
So I'm like trying. I mean, like think about it. Then this can go to like 40 and 50 later on. Like if we're already at
Yeah.
20, 25, 30, like
It's gonna be 40%.
yeah,
Yeah.
like literally, you know.
Yeah, if you get $100 steak, it's already 120.
140. Yeah.
And if
140.
you, in America, if you go to a club or a lounge and you get like $1,000 table,
Yeah.
smack a 25% bill on top of that, you're paying so much more
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
It's insane.
How do
Yeah.
people live in America?
You need to be
I
a
don't
millionaire by minimum. Like if
Okay.
you want to live in like LA or New York.
Yeah. And apparently, historically, tipping didn't come from America. Ironic.
okay.
It came from
Where?
Europe.
Oh, okay.
From the 1850s.
Oh,
Where?
history lesson.
Yeah, like European aristocrats and like these rich people started like tipping like out of gratitude, and then that traveled to America, and then the Europeans started to like get rid of tipping culture, and then America stuck with it, and then there was slavery in America, and then American like especially the South, according to Wikipedia. I'm sourcing Wikipedia.
Wow,
Okay,
such
like-
a believable source.
yeah, it says that in the South it was very, very prevalent, and like Southern farmers and stuff would tip like black people because they didn't want to pay them like the actual wage after like slavery was abolished and too. Like they were like low cost
Okay.
workers, and they didn't want
You
to pay.
get paid how much I want you.
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
paid,
yeah. And then after that, like even in the northern parts, these business owners, it's the land of capitalism.
Yeah.
They wanted to exploit the shit out of their employees, and they said like, oh, you can earn whatever you get for your service by the
Yeah,
customers. And
just
they,
hustle more and get more tips.
yeah, exactly. And then it became widespread, and now this is America.
Yeah.
Yeah, in London, it's not 100% like it's not customary.
Same
Obviously,
in
some
Sweden.
establishments do like give you the option,
Yep.
and some establishments will make you, but it's not like America where it's everywhere. No.
Same
So
in
Europe
Sweden,
doesn't
some-
have like mandatory tips,
No,
or like do people actually hand out tips though?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah,
in
they
nice
do if they want to.
restaurants, and if they're really happy with the service, they would give out tips.
Uh-huh.
But they would be offended if you get a takeout protein smoothie. They're like,
Yeah,
"Do
no.
you want a tip?" That's
No.
offensive. Like,
Okay.
why would you even have that option?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would think like Northern Europe would be different because it's the land of welfare, and
No. They have like $20 minimum wage first of all to begin
Oh,
with,
right,
and
right.
everyone gets taxed. Like
Oh,
even the
right.
servers gets taxed properly. Everyone gets taxed properly, and they are the first countries to try to demolish cash because they want everything to be documented. They don't want any tax evaders. So in that way, I was never pressured to give out tipping, even in like a nice restaurant, even in a fancy restaurant. I could if I wanted to, but also the menu price and the final price was very similar.
Okay. It makes
Yeah.
sense because they tax a lot there.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
is it
but
eating out is expensive?
it's expensive. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Cooking food, produce is very cheap there because they have their own like meat and stuff. But eating out is expensive because when you have to pay your servers minimum $20,
Yeah.
then eating out becomes expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's just only America. Good old America. What are you doing? I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of them because, they have their minimum wage problems and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Like
anyways,
some states have like as low as us, the minimum wage.
Yeah,
is like
yeah, yeah.
$8.
Yeah.
Yeah, some-
Then they really have to depend on tips to survive.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So for them, we can't speak of. But in general, I think like tipping culture should be abolished.
Yeah, it's the establishment. They should pay their workers
Yeah, just-
enough money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The
Minimum wage
employers
should be kept.
should be responsible for
Yeah.
the minimum
Not
wage.
the
and, like,
customer.
exactly.
Yeah.
I
Because
don't.
my Swedish boyfriend, used to work at a nice restaurant, and he would get paid very well.
Yeah.
But he would get like 40% extra in because they would split the
Wow.
tips because it's a nice restaurant, and people get drunk and they're like, "Yeah, I'll leave a tip." Yeah, but it's not mandatory.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So going back to Korea, so we've seen a little bit of America, Europe. Tipping culture in Korea is slowly on the rise, as we said in the intro. And
But like where?
So the Soobeanie said, Kakao
Cabs.
Taxi was
No,
the
it's on the app.
Kakao,
Do you want to check?
I am Uber, all cabs.
yes.
Almost.
So people are freaking out about it. They're literally like they're protesting on the
But
internet.
it's an option. It's not
Yeah,
mandatory.
but still,
Yes.
it's a gateway.
And also, exactly. So it's only applicable only to black, deluxe, venti, and blue taxis, which are like the premium,
premium one.
of like the original taxis. And like it's not mandatory. There's like a little just pop up at the end. Like,
Right.
would you like to tip your driver?
But I
Like,
feel guilty whenever I click X. I'm like, no. I'm like,
Yeah, I
Why?
feel guilty. But then from what I know the companies, they take a lot from the taxi drivers
that's
too.
also
no, because when I was in LA, I couldn't even click X. I had to tip the Uber driver. And then if I didn't want to tip them at least 5% or 10%, I would have to put in like $1 or $2. And then I'm like, I really don't have money. And then I would just type in $2. And I felt so bad. I felt so bad.
Yeah, it's kind of like guilt tripping you into like paying more.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think the fact that the platforms take a big cut can justify like shoving it to
The
like,
customer.
The
Yeah.
customer
Yeah.
usually
It's like
pay
you're
more.
at a grocery store and then they're like, would you like to donate $3 to starving kids in Africa? And you can't say
yes.
no.
Yeah,
You can't say no. But
exactly.
like, why
Yeah,
do you mandate for them to ask me that?
Exactly. Yeah. So there's a debate about this. Obviously, it's pretty like lopsided. You know, the mass majority. I think I don't even need to do like a research on this. Like 90% would say no. Actually, there are statistics here. My bad.
Okay.
So 7 out of 10 people expressed their disapproval of the Kakao tip function, and 2 people voted in favor, and the other was like indifferent about it.
But if you think about it, if you are a cab driver and like you have the option of getting tipped, like you can tip or not, right? You have a choice.
Yes.
Like I would want the option to be there.
Yeah, but
too,
then
like,
I
you
would
know what
rather
I
give
mean?
cash to the driver than doing it through the app.
So the problem with that is like
Is Kakao taking the tips too and splitting it?
No,
Or-
people are saying like if this starts like
it's gonna be like a domino
a
effect.
gateway.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So like if Kakao adopts this, everybody's gonna start to adopt this, and
restaurants
at
and-
some point it's gonna become like a social pressure.
Like one of the reasons I like
mandatory.
Korea is it's relatively cheap to eat out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, nowadays I don't think so. Like it's becoming struggling for me.
But compared to LA and
yeah,
America.
yeah, I can't live in America,
Yeah.
but still, you know, a normal lunch right now is like $12 here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But the minimum wage is 8. But in
Mhm.
America, the minimum wage is 8 and the normal lunch is 20.
Mhm.
So it's bigger gap.
So just to do a little poll here, do you think like the unmandatory tips system in Kakao Taxi is okay? Soobeanie, you think it's
Is
okay?
it okay?
Yeah.
I guess it's okay. Do I not like
So
it?
the
I don't
debate
like it.
is it's either a gateway, so it should be blocked in the beginning,
Blocked. Okay.
and it's not a particular problem because the user is not coerced or forced.
Should it be blocked?
I think it's fine.
I personally think it's okay.
It's okay?
Yeah, because there are times where like I would catch a cab and it's literally like, you know, minimum and
But
like
I want it to be blocked almost because it's like one of the cultural benefits we have. People like Korea because when they come here, they don't have to worry about.
But that's the whole
tipping.
world
But
too.
then there's also people who want to tip because they're like, oh, when they're riding a taxi here and they're used to riding Ubers, they're like, wow, the
So
price
cheap.
is insane. Like
Okay.
literally, it's insane. So they actually do tip even more because they
So
feel.
you guys are not scared about more companies like.
No, but it's like in America, I don't know why, but it's like mandatory, right?
It's
Yeah.
not
everyone
mandatory.
has
It's
to.
socially like shunned, right? If you
No,
don't.
but I feel like in Koreans, most Koreans are like socially, it's not going to become the same level as America.
It
But I
might
think
in
having
10
the
It might
years.
option-
be.
It might be. It might
Yeah,
be.
you never know.
I mean, it's like you promoting your Patreon. It's like you don't have to donate, but it's like the choice is there if you
No.
want to.
I don't know. Like
No, but he provides extra service for the Patreon. You get extra content and stuff. Yeah, and it's hard. Like his podcast get a lot of views, but like these days, YouTube AdSense doesn't pay a lot. To be honest, I'm struggling. I recently started a membership too, guys.
Yeah, so a lot of people are just afraid that if like this big conglomerate is adopting and experimenting with Kakao tea already, then
Man, Kakao's like the really
How would you
big-
guys feel if your favorite local private-owned coffee shop, after you sit down and have a coffee, they're like, "Would you like to tip? Are you guys okay
Yeah,
with?"
but you still have the option to say no.
But
I
the
don't
thing
like
is
saying
that they're
no.
not
I don't like
asking,
saying no.
I've been seeing like a lot of restaurants, they just have like a tip jar.
Okay, well,
You
that's
know, but then
fine.
that also a lot of people were like, why is there a tip jar?
They're offended.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
are offended with even just seeing a tip jar in general.
So that was actually in one of the articles. There was
Yeah.
a tipping jar in a restaurant or
Yeah.
like
Bar,
yeah,
club,
mostly
pub.
foreigner populated
Yeah,
areas.
so basically what
Yeah,
it was
Itaewon
in
clubs.
English. And then Korean people were getting more mad about that because
Yeah.
they were saying,
you're
you
exploiting.
guys are doing like tourism and like you guys are
exploiting.
making it feel like you have to do it
Right.
and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you guys are taking advantage of foreigners at the
Yes.
same time too. But
I don't understand getting this offended. Like if the business they want to have
It's
provide
the same with
option.
like weed. It's like it's the same gateway
Wait, what?
logic. We cannot allow weed into Korea because it's gonna bring meth,
People
heroin.
say that. People say that.
Yeah, it's the same thing. We cannot bring in tips at any place because it's going to become like America
But you
in
have
10
the
years,
op-
20 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you have the option to say no. You're saying like you have the
Well,
option
at
to
first
say no
in
to
America, you probably had
oh
the
yeah,
option
yeah,
to say
like
no
10,
in
like
LA.
15, 10 years
20%.
ago,
Yeah.
like it wasn't like mandatory, but now people are feeling super duper
Exactly.
pressured. So they're basically saying if we're gonna be starting that and we're not pressuring it years later, people are gonna
Yeah.
be
Maybe I'm
Yeah,
just
when
like,
the
I don't-
economy tanks, like people.
I care too much about like how much is like I watch out for myself. So if I'm like, I sorry, I can't afford to pay more.
But
than
in
I just
America,
put-
it's also a trend for just regular people to have like GoFundMe and like go like donate to
Yeah,
me and stuff
there's a
whenever.
culture like that.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe it's a different culture.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Korea,
yeah.
when a Korean person is sick, they would never open up a fundraiser for themselves and be like,
That's
GoFundMe
true.
me. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So there was another controversy apart from the tipping jar. So there was this one restaurant. It's I think a shabu shabu place, and it had like this little. What do you call this? Like
Sign.
a little sign on the table saying it's not mandatory, it's your choice, but if you feel grateful to the server, you can tip more than $5,000.
they 정해서
The 5,001. Sorry, 5,001.
Dollars?
Oh, they want more than,
$5.
but they want more than
At least $5.
Okay.
Yeah, it says
And do you
like
give it in cash to the server?
yeah, it's like $5
Okay, see,
would be
now
appropriate.
that's you're putting like a certain thing on it. Like, you know what I mean?
like $5.
Yeah.
Then it's not about gratitude. If I'm happy, maybe I can give $2-3, but it's like now I have to give more than
Yeah,
$5.
because Kakao, what they do, it's not they have like a thing like 1,000원, 2,000원, 3,000원,
Yeah.
like 5,000원,
$1,
만원.
$2,
Yeah,
yeah.
like 20, whatever. However you want to tip, you know, or you could do other and you could tip whatever
Yeah.
you want to tip. But then this is literally saying
Minimum $5.
Yeah, it's literally the same thing. So it's
What if Kakao suddenly in like 5 years ups that price
minimum
and said
20.
the minimum is 20?
You can do 20, 30, or 35.
That's America right now. So
dude, that's gonna be crazy. I don't think nobody's gonna be riding taxis then. In Korea.
yeah.
Even
But-
right now with the 20%,
Yeah,
30%,
increase.
like no people are very
Yeah, my
mad
taxi,
about that.
Yeah, my cab driver said less customers.
Yeah.
Especially at night after
10, like
10
PM,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
I
there's
mean,
hikes
it's
and-
easier for me because I can get cabs now. A long time ago, you couldn't get cabs, but
Right.
it's so expensive.
Yeah.
It is.
It adds
Cabs
up.
are
It
so
adds up.
expensive.
But the
these
funny
days.
thing is, when my American friends come to
Yeah,
Korea,
I know. So
they only ride taxis.
And you know, they use their American card
Oh,
because
USD.
yeah, the
Yeah,
USD.
USD, yeah.
So
Yeah, but
they're
we all
literally
earn
like
in USD,
they get
so.
their notification, and if it was like I don't know, 7,000원, dude, it was only $4.
Yeah.
And then
$4 or
they're like,
$5.
what the heck? And
Yeah.
then so if they write it everywhere, even if in Korea, like,
That's so funny.
2,000원 is really expensive, right, for
yeah,
a cab?
it
But
is.
it's $12,
Yeah, it's like
$13.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like my friends are literally down to ride the taxi from Incheon Airport to wherever their Airbnb
That was
is
so funny,
because
yeah.
it's so cheap.
I know. I've
But to
witnessed
us,
that.
it's like that's a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
I've never ride taxis. I even bought like an electric kickboard
Yeah.
to commute back
Yeah,
and
but
forth.
what they make is different too.
Of
West
course,
Korea.
Yeah,
of course,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
But going back to that signboard in that restaurant, there was a funny comment saying, "Isn't it your job to give nice service by the default, like service workers? Isn't that why you're hired?" And he says, "If I eat deliciously, are you going to give me a discount?" In that logic.
Yeah, or if I eat fast and get out fast.
Yeah. So I think he has a point. Like it's your mandatory job to serve, and like as a service worker, you need to be at a level of nice.
Right.
I
and
mean,
it has
I've
become
never
a point.
seen that before. That sign.
The sign.
yeah.
It's like a controversy.
Dude,
online.
if I saw that, I
Yeah.
would not want to eat. I would be kind of like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But I
Yes.
feel like this in America has become backwards to the point where the servers have to be extra nice when the people don't even need it. Where they come every
Yeah.
5 minutes to ask how the food is.
That's annoying.
Where it becomes bothersome, and
Yeah.
now you have to tip for this extra service you didn't even want.
I know.
Yeah, so like this comment does make sense. It's just your job to do your job. And
Yeah,
you don't
do
have
your
to be extra
job.
nice to me.
Yeah, I'm not going to be extra nice customer as well. So, do you think there are any pros for tips at all?
Yeah, for minimum wage workers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like for minimum wage work.
Minimum wage workers.
I was really shocked. This year, the Korean people the government raises the minimum wage. This year was the second smallest increase. They increased it by small percentage. Yeah, because of the economy and stuff.
It's not even over 만원.
Yeah,
it's like $8.5 or something like that. I
Yeah.
don't know.
From 8.4 to 8.5.
Yeah. Do you think tipping actually drives up the service quality?
No, it gets uncomfortable. I mean, for me in LA, I was very
She's very
uncomfortable. No, they come like every 5 minutes and like they're like, "Oh, you're traveling. Like, how is like maybe I just don't like small talk. Like, oh, maybe you can go here, there, and stuff." And I'm like, I just want to eat.
Yeah. Do you need extra water?
Yeah.
Do you need
And just, like,
is the
considering
food
most-
okay?
Yeah, so should I tell something to the chef? I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, most Korean culture, like society-wise, people don't want to be bothered with small talk. It's
Yeah.
different to Americans because sometimes in my videos I explain to foreigners like in Korea we don't make small talk with strangers. They're like, how do you make friends? And that's so
It's
unfriendly
hard. It is
culture.
hard to make
but it's just in
friends.
Korea, people just very prefer not to have small
Yeah,
talk.
we have freaking buttons for
Yeah.
waitresses. Like,
It's great for
Yeah.
introverts.
Ding-dong.
Come,
Yeah.
please.
yeah.
So people, servers being overly nice and be like, "How was your day?" Like that's not a Korean custom.
Yeah,
really.
like I have digestion problems after like dining at an American restaurant.
Anxiety.
Really. I'm on the watch out. Like, oh, when's the waiter gonna come? What should I say in
But
response?
the problem is whenever we ate with American friends and let's say the food was not good and we
Yeah.
would talk with ourselves, oh my God, this pasta is like the worst. It's really cold.
Yeah,
and the
but
server comes like, how was the food? Oh my God, it was so great. It was like amazing. It's like, then what's the point of the service?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Exactly.
Like even if it's bad, you still have to pay tip, is what
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
Like, that's like
and you're never going to tell the chef it was bad. You just eat and go.
And apparently, a lot of people pointed out that there are a lot of disadvantages of tipping. For example, for females, they have to put up with sexual harassment, like subtle, constant sexual harassment,
Right.
because they're the customers and they need to
Right.
receive tips. So they're like,
oh, you're so pretty.
Yeah,
you
you're so
brighten my
hot, you know.
day. Let me
Yeah.
just give you a tip for your smile.
yeah, that kind of stuff. So they have to put up with that. And apparently, logistically, it's even it's like a hassle for the store owner as well, because they need to do separate like calculations, and you know, if it's paid not in cash, they need to go through like
Yeah.
the
Split it all
system
up.
again.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why.
also Korea doesn't have a set law yet, so who knows? You could say you're tipping and it could go to the owner or it can go to the workers. Like you don't know if it's really going to be going to the workers.
Unless you
Right.
hand it to them directly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's-
exactly.
Yeah, some
what I
people
always
take the
transparency.
tip. Some people
Yes.
take the
Yeah,
tip. Some
like-
owners.
Imagine, you know what I
Well,
mean?
I was really shocked
There's
about
no law.
Yeah, I was like, does the tipping culture actually work because like of transparency
Yeah.
issues? Are the store owners really like very
Yeah,
clear?
but in
about-
America, if the word gets spread that store owner takes the tip, they're canceled. It's
Oh,
Like
really?
if there's like a tipping jar,
Yeah.
like only the
Someone
owner,
can, like-
the owner can be the one controlling
keep
it,
track of
right?
it, yeah.
So she can decide however much
Yeah,
she
but-
wants to give to
yeah.
the
Because
like,
if
ethically,
I was
there's
a-
no law.
ethically she shouldn't.
Yeah.
If I was a store owner and I saw like $100 bill sitting in the jar and
Yeah.
nobody was around, I'd be like,
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
put it in my pocket.
Yeah, true.
Exactly.
Do you think the store owners in Korea would be honest and transparent about receiving tips?
No, because there's no law. There is.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah, because we all know the answer.
Yeah, there is no law. Like literally, they could say they're gonna give it to the workers, and
Yeah, and
they could
because
just
they
take
already
everything.
have to pay mandatory minimum wage,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
gonna be like they're gonna feel better about taking the tip.
Yeah.
Right,
It's like, oh, I already
right.
paid
They're-
enough.
They're
you know?
motivated to take the tip, actually.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So I
like,
can't believe in America it's legal for you to not pay minimum wage if they can take the tip.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, what?
and I can't even believe that it's transparent.
Then
because
why does the minimum wage exist then? What for?
America's a
please
whole
explain
different
it to
world.
us in the comments.
but
Why
like,
does that work?
As I said, if I was a store owner, I would steal the $100 bill from the tipping jar and put it in my pocket.
Yeah, but that's
when
so
nobody was
evil.
looking.
Like already the minimum wage is 12 and I'm like, I'm just gonna pay you 6 because you get tips and then I take the tips in secret. That's so evil.
Yeah, I know, but capitalists are evil, and that's how you get rich. Speaking of stealing, are you sure your information isn't being stolen? Simply connecting to random free Wi-Fi in public spaces or clicking on imposter links can result in the theft of your personal information or data. Or if a website that has your account information gets compromised, your passwords might end up on the dark web and be used to break into other websites. So how can you prevent all of this from happening? Always check for lock and HTTPS near the destination URL, and use our sponsor for today's video, NordVPN. By subscribing using nordvpn.com/Korean Pizza, you can browse privately, bypass censorship, use public Wi-Fi securely, and securely download, upload files. On top of that, NordVPN also enables you to access your favorite content, such as K-dramas and shows on streaming platforms that provide English subtitles, by simply changing your location. Get 4 extra months on top of a 2-year plan here at nordvpn.com/Korean Pizza. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So why not sacrifice just 1 cup of coffee a month and start protecting your browsing with NordVPN today? It's a no-brainer. Simply click the link in the description box below, nordvpn.com/Korean Pizza, and take control of your online security.
And I also think like if tipping culture gets bigger here, like tourism too will
stagger.
Tank,
because nobody's gonna want to come on like a trip and then want to tip more too. It's like if I go to America too, even though I'm American, I don't like going sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to tip, like, you know what I mean?
Most places in Asia, it's not.
It's not.
Like
It's
me
not.
and my parents, before going on a trip, we would like, do we tip in this country? Because like it's a determining factor.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
if
Yeah,
you
it
have
really
to go.
is. It really is.
Yeah, and I'm going on a trip to America next month again. I don't want to go because of the like literally. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm already
You're
worried
anxious
about the tips.
tip, yeah.
You know, like the living costs and like the prices are already inflated, and then there's like the 25%.
And the Korean won to USD is not
But
good.
when you go, do you use your card?
Yes.
Which then Korean, when it will change to
Korean
Korean won,
won and
it's
the
like way
service
more
charges.
expensive. Oh my
It's
God,
like
I can't
$15
even
and you pay in
imagine.
Korean. It's like 20 2만 원. 2만 4천.
It sucks. It sucks,
So
honestly.
seriously, what did you guys eat last time you went?
We ate like refrigerated burritos and like cup
from
ramen.
CVS.
Yeah.
What was so the pancake was the most expensive meal you
Yes.
had?
After that, we were like, we're not eating out. We're not eating
Yeah,
out. And then
especially-
All Blanc was going to steakhouses.
Yeah, he doesn't like save, like he will spend on food.
Yeah, I'll have
With
to
the currency change, no.
No, I can't do that. Yeah. And then we like Danny and Jin, I was constantly saying you need to tip the Uber drivers too.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what Google says. And they were in disbelief, like, why the I have to tip Uber drivers? And then I continuously argued, like, Google says that. And my friends say that too. Like, why are you not following the customs? You're being ugly Koreans here. And then they were like, oh, fuck it then. We're not riding cabs. And then we walked all the way to Angel Stadium. And we walked like 40 minutes back and forth because they didn't want to tip the taxi driver. That's so funny.
I mean, when you think about it, people freak out when Big Mac price gets raised $2. So tipping is like hindering. It's hindering.
Yeah.
It makes you double think.
And there's another interesting point said that tipping is inefficient actually because if you have like a designated server for your table and you are supposed to tip that person, the other servers don't give a shit about you.
Yeah. And in Korea, it's usually not a designated server.
So long to get like water and stuff because I have my
You have to wait
designated
for
server.
your server.
Yeah. But in Korea, I'm like, we're just here and then they just anyone
anyone
comes.
comes.
Yeah, that's so true. That is
So
so true.
I don't know if there are any advantages of tipping at this
Right.
point.
And like in an economy standpoint, don't you want the flow of money to be more like rapid? So if people don't go out to eat, then the whole economy is like staggering.
Yeah.
So you should motivate people to go out and spend money.
Even the extra tip added onto like the delivery apps now. People are like,
Oh.
I refuse to
mad.
order
So
takeaway.
yeah, so I saw the article for that too. So 배달의 민족, the biggest delivery
Or
app,
Like the
Uber
Uber Eats of
or, yeah.
Korea.
Uber Eats,
Yeah.
they have the terminology 배달 tip, delivery tip.
Yes.
But it's
And
mandatory, $2 to $3.
Yeah, that's actually like getting paid to the delivery workers
Yeah.
as the minimum.
Yeah.
But people are mad with the terminology, like the term delivery tip. They say get rid of the word tip. They're
what's
that like
Just fee,
allergic
fee.
to tip.
What should the word be?
Fee, delivery fee.
delivery fee.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like, why are you keeping using these like tip words?
Yeah, because it just feels like it's not very set in stone. It just feels like, oh, now I have to tip 5. Like they're gonna change the price. It's not like some
Right.
kind of service I pay for. It's like based on my gratitude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
We're so allergic, everyone.
everyone's allergic. It's-
I don't think anyone wants to feel shamed into having to give money.
or pressure to do
Yeah.
anything.
If you
Or, like,
genuinely
feel
feel
like you're a
grateful for
bad
the
person.
service,
Yeah.
then people will open their wallets and they
But
will.
in America,
But
people are
when you're-
complaining because you feel like you're a bad societal person.
I don't know that too, but okay,
But
maybe
Korea, the minimum wage is really small. 그거는
It is low.
Yeah, it's true.
It really is. So I mean, I can't. We don't have like 9-to-5 jobs, but if we were to put in this perspective, that could be really a big difference for them too. So I guess it's right. Like the word tipping, I guess should be not like that. But
me and my parents were gonna go traveling to a country that was like no tipping, but we were trying to go to this nice hotel, and in that hotel, all the reviews were like, you have to leave this $10 bill for the cleaners, or like they're gonna talk behind your back and stuff. And then it was a cashless country, but we just took out cash. It's just for leaving it on the bed.
Same too.
Just for leaving it on the bed.
Yeah.
I didn't leave a tip for my hotel.
You're ugly Korean.
In America.
People are gonna be like, oh, this Korean person so rude.
You're supposed to leave a tip at your hotel.
Yeah, if you have
oh my God, I missed that.
You're supposed to.
Like on the bed, like a $10
Oh my God, I feel so bad now.
In America, you're supposed to do that?
I wasn't in America, but
I feel so bad now. Oh my God, I stayed for like 7 days.
You exploited the workers, David.
Never left
and they cleaned the room every day?
Yeah.
David.
I'm so sorry if you're watching this. I didn't know.
They probably thought that you were going to do it at the end too, because usually a lot of people do it day by day.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
They don't do it like towards the end. They do it like every day.
But it was such a hassle to get cash out just for tipping at the hotel and leaving it on the...
She was such a nice person. Oh no.
David, you're a bad person.
Oh yeah, I feel bad. And I got laughed at by my US friends when I went to like this boba place. I got a boba and they flipped the screen and they said like tip or whatever. And I thought I had to tip and I pressed like 20% and they were like, what are you doing? Why are you tipping? So apparently you don't have to tip for like these takeout and kiosk
it's
things.
just the option.
Yeah, but like they do it. No. I went to Blue Bottle in LA and I was getting takeout and it took them 2 seconds to make the coffee and then they're like tip and I was like, oh, $15. And then also my friends are like, you don't have to
No,
tip.
you don't have to. It's up to you.
Yeah, but then why did they give me the option?
But once you get used to pressing no, it's
so
get over
confusing.
The barista is looking right at me.
It doesn't matter. Just say no. It's a takeout coffee.
So like you have to tip hotel service workers and you have to tip restaurant workers.
But takeout is okay.
Hairdressers, Uber drivers, yes, no? Yes. But
not to take out
not
coffee.
McDonald's workers or Starbucks workers? No?
Actually, with the Uber thing, when I was taking a taxi from New York, the yellow taxis is like there's like a set airport thing to the city. It's like a guaranteed set price. But then there were like loads of different opinions on Uber from the airport to the thing. They were like, you don't have to actually tip Uber.
Oh my God.
It's all like it's so fucking
but then
confusing.
in order to not tip on Uber, you have to mandatorily press other and then press $0.1 or something and you feel bad.
Yeah.
Because you have to like go through that.
Yeah, and I think
I'm
it's
like, is the driver gonna get an alarm? Like, you gotta tip $0.1.
Yeah, I think it's different for Uber because like after you finish the ride, it gives you a notification and then
until you deal with the notification, you cannot book another Uber. So you have to decide if you want to tip.
but it's better that way because like for like on-site tipping, like when you're in a restaurant, you have to decide in the moment. Like you have 20, 25, 30 in front of you, and I'm like,
looking at
my
you.
finger's going to 20, but they're looking at you, so my fingers like slowly moving, and then I'm like in the middle, and then 25.
Yeah, same. I'm like, they're gonna judge me if I do the lowest one.
Yeah, and apparently,
I'm like, they can judge me.
You're
I
not.
don't care.
Yeah, but most people have this social like anxiety.
I'm like, just judge me. I'll deal with it.
Yeah, like people
Let's
like
get
Danny.
married, Anna. Take care of me. Say no for me.
You know what Danny said? I'm outing him. I'm exposing him. He doesn't care about people that much. Like he's like, I'm never gonna see this person again. So why the hell am I supposed to tip him? And he's like, after the Uber drive, he's like, 0. Like, no. Like, I'm not gonna see him again. Like, I'm going back to Korea. So, yeah, but the pressure is real. The pressure is real for introverts. Yeah. Oh, anyways, I was getting to something, but I forgot. I'm sweating. Yeah.
Thinking about it.
Because they look at you and they just made my coffee, and I'm like, are they gonna judge me? Are they gonna be sad if I press like 5% instead of 20%?
No, you're being gaslighted.
Oh, and there was an interesting statistic. This is a fact. I'm not discriminatory or like being racist, okay? Like in a lot of articles and Wikipedia, it says that white people tip the most, black people are second, and Asians are at the last.
We're frugal.
Yeah.
We're frugal.
Yeah.
And it's not in our culture.
I think it's in our culture, maybe.
It's not in Korea, at least.
Really? Like my grandpa, every elder person I know, they're always like very frugal. They're like, you need to save, like they turn off the lights.
Tipping
don't
is
turn
not in
on
our
the
culture,
AC. Yeah, they're frugal for everything. So tipping is like just not it for them.
Yeah.
I was seeing on TikToks, there were videos being like, Kendall and Kylie Jenner, they do not leave tips wherever they go.
Why?
Yeah, they're like,
They're
so
super rich.
Yeah, but apparently they're
Okay, so I will not be
tips.
guilt tripped into tipping if Kylie Jenner doesn't tip.
Yeah.
What? Is that true?
Yeah, there was a TikTok. Yeah.
No way.
I heard like some waitresses said they didn't get tipped, but you wouldn't.
You don't know if it's true. You can never
Yeah.
validate. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, no to tips. Yeah, I'm anti-tip in Korea as well.
Same.
Like I don't think tips should.
I don't like it.
Like, I don't think it's not right that servers have to depend on tips for their
Exactly.
livelihood.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
But
establishment
in
should
Korea,
pay
it's not
them.
like that. It's
Yeah.
not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, no.
Americans, fix yourselves.
But personally, for me, I don't mind the option of having it there. Like for Kakao tea, like I know some people really don't like that.
I don't like that.
Yeah, but for me, it's like I wouldn't.
How about that leads to in 10 years 20% minimum?
I really don't mind if it's not mandatory. If it's like not forced, then I will.
In America, it's also not illegal, but it's just a societal consensus.
Okay, well, but if you care about being judged, like I don't care. Like
Oh.
they can judge me.
Yeah, she
I'm just afraid
But
because
knowing Korean like culture, I don't think we would make
Yeah.
it go up to 20%
Yeah, I
or
don't think
that
it would
much.
get
Like
to,
you
like,
know what I mean?
America.
Like
Yeah.
no elderly or like people like maybe the younger generation might, but I know so many people would be so against that. Like
Okay.
you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think having the option there that's fine.
I would be influenced because I'm super gullible.
Yeah.
And
Me
I
too.
get
Me too.
pressured into it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just scary because Kakao is one of the biggest companies here.
Yeah,
and they own everything.
That's
so
true.
if they're going to adopt it to taxis, they're going to expand to these businesses and those services.
Yeah, there's Kakao hair shop. There's
Yeah.
Kakao clothing.
They're going to add the function to every single
So
app.
actually, Kakao is getting like really bashed on. They're like, it's
Yeah,
you
their
guys
stocks
that are
dropped a lot.
taking like like percentages from the taxi drivers. Why
Yeah.
are we having to tip them when you guys are the ones that are taking
They
percentages?
should tip them. They should bonus the taxi
exactly. They
drivers.
should have
Always the
bonuses.
evil capitalistic profit-driven,
Conglomerates.
conglomerates. Yeah, they're the faults here. Yeah, I think capitalism should fall.
Are you a
We sh-
Marxist? What
No,
are you?
no, but we should have like a reset or something. Like
Bitcoin.
No, but seriously, capitalism is failing at this point. Like the gap
wealth
between the wealth.
disparison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's out of control anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways,
Let's just give up on life.
give up on
I
life.
mean, the Earth is gonna crumble from global warming in 10 years anyway. So,
But still, no tipping until then. That's what's important. No tipping. I'm very strong on this stance. Yeah. If this goes viral, it might have an influence in American society, so you can get rid of tipping.
No, but
once
for
and
real,
all.
I've seen so many on my YouTube homepage. Americans are not happy with the tipping.
Yeah,
right now either.
yeah.
They're
So
like, it's outrageous.
let this be the viral moment, and you know,
yes, it's been a hashtag no tipping movement.
yeah. Okay. So that was KPC today. No tipping. I think that's the conclusion. Koreans are not going to
But
tolerate tipping.
feel free to donate to the Patreon.
Yes.
But it's not a
yes.
donation. You have to provide extra service.
Capitalism.
No, I have a membership, but I do extra work. I provide extra service and content. It's like
Yeah.
exclusive live streams and stuff.
Exactly. So
Come
go-
and support my
go check
membership
out my-
program.
Yeah, go check out the Patreon for KPC.
It's not tipping. It's extra work.
Yeah, and that's why I got taxed on it. I got a tax raid because of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
value
yeah.
added tax.
Yes.
It's extra.
And my tax accountant said initially it was donations, and then that's what I was filing it for. And then 5 years later, the
Now
tax
it's-
office came and said you're providing perks,
Yeah,
so that
you
it
are.
should be income tax.
Yeah.
So that's a
So
whole
he's in
different
debt.
story.
Anyways, go and
Anyways.
support his Patreon and my Patreon on Kelsey the Korean. But we want no tipping. Hashtag no tipping movement.
Yeah, we
And
have
we'll see you
I
guys
have
in the
exclusive
next
podcasts, and give this a 5-star review. That's not tipping. That's free.
It's for free.
Yeah.
For free.
That's an opinion, an option that you can do. You have an option to donate and you have an option to press
We're not
like.
giving you any social
no
like pressure.
Yeah.
No
anything.
pressure.
It doesn't cost you any money to leave a like
Yeah,
and
but
a
you're
comment.
But you're a bad person if you don't subscribe.
Yeah, I'll be sad. Did I do
A guilt
anything
trip,
wrong
guilt
to you? Is this
How was the
podcast
video?
not
Was
up to
this
your
enjoyable?
standards? Okay, I'll try to be better next time if you don't leave a comment and a like and not subscribe to my Patreon. Yeah, this is the reality of tipping. Anyways, okay, that was it. Bye
See
bye
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.